Hello everyone, Miklós Veszprémi here, coming to you from Dubai. Today I would like to talk about how it's been joining BCG in Dubai 4 weeks ago. In a word, phenomenal. BCG of course did not ask me to do this, but I would like to just make this video as a record of what my early impressions were of BCG. But before I ramble and rave, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what I will be talking about. So basically work and everything else. With work, I would like to talk about what I've been doing, the training, the working style and intensity, and the platform that BCG provides. Regarding everything else, I'd like to talk about the people at BCG, my routines and habits. So let's start with what I've been doing. The first 2 weeks at BCG were devoted to introduction and training, but the case that I was put on had already started after the first week. So I started listening in on daily calls and started doing some preliminary research alongside my training. Now, the first thing that struck me about BCG was just how damn well organized their project library is. I literally have access to a database of what seems like all the cases that BCG ever did, organized by subsector, sub-subsector down a dozen levels, where the project was, who was working on it, for how long, the client, summary of the case, and a curated PowerPoint deck with the main takeaways supplemented with additional anonymized material and data. There's something almost academic about it. It's like this collection of references and research that you can draw on in the future to build institutional knowledge. BCG, of course, invented the concept of strategy consulting as such in 1963. And since its early days has treated cases as interesting, fascinating, intellectual problems in addition to everything else that they are. I mean, it's well known that among the first 7 employees of Bruce Henderson, the founder of BCG, 5 of them were just like random PhDs doing something interesting, people that could think, but did not necessarily have a business background. It's really reminding me very much of the work that I was doing at Yale, the most notable difference, of course, being the speed at which stuff happens. With my background in music theory and a background as a concert pianist, I, of course, am a little unique, but only a little bit. Every single person here I meet has something truly unique about this, by which I mean 1 in a 10 million sort of uniqueness. And this leads to just fascinating conversations everywhere, all the time, with, of course, the tiny bit of time that I'm not working on the case. BCG, of course, also does a lot to precipitate such discussions, the best of all being lunch. They provide fantastic, and I really mean fantastic, free food in the cafeteria every day. So I spend every lunch sitting with my colleagues having great conversations on the balcony overlooking the financial district of Dubai, which to me looks just like Coruscant, the city planet of Star Wars. So the first 2 weeks of training were really fantastic. The first one was devoted to tools and admin. A highlight for me personally as a pianist were the sessions on mastering PowerPoint and Excel. So 4 weeks ago, I knew a dozen commands like Command or Control B for making text bold. Now I'm at least 50 commands, which I learn like I would learn chords on the piano. I will make a video about that in the future because I really, really like this part. The second week was about methods. So we had a week-long simulation of a real case that BCG did, with every day devoted to a different essential skill of the consulting toolset, like structuring, planning, analysis, and presentation. And the quality of the materials that were assembled to us just struck me as really, really impressive. So we were put on this interactive, multimedial, hybrid learning journey with perfectly tailored steps to enable a very steep, almost vertical, but manageable learning curve. Just perfectly placed at that point in which I could nearly not keep up, and indeed would not keep up if I were not hyper-focused all the time, which I soon learned was going to be my modus operandi 24/7. So not just in the office, but in everything else that I did since joining. Now, in one of my previous videos, I spoke about how purpose comes before productivity. and how as soon as you have something that commands so much attention and is really purpose, but with sufficient conviction, everything else you're trying to train yourself to do quickly starts falling into place. So my work here is very much like that. There's so much of it, and the quality imperative is so great that the only way to do anything is by doing it perfectly to begin with, or rather to the absolute best of my ability. All, of course, with a smile, because otherwise it would make for a very unpleasant experience for everybody. And just exorient for every opportunity to improve yourself, because that is how you actually get more efficient over time. But the efficiency imperative is there from the very beginning. You start organizing everything and optimizing everything else in life because it becomes the only way to get sufficient rest in. I've been surprised to find that I actually get more stuff done, also in my private life here, than in many other times in my life. I mean, I am practicing piano and working out every single day, which I can't say in other times. And it's just because this efficiency paradigm has gone very deep in my life already. It also reminds me a lot of my time as a concert pianist when I was a music student at the Royal College of Music in London, where the single unallocated slot of time in my entire week was Sunday morning between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. because the Royal College of Music did not open on Sundays until 10 a.m. So it was like, what am I going to do with this time? Because everything else was planned out. So the question is, of course, what am I doing? That's what I'm being asked. So obviously I can't talk about that. It's confidential engagement, as everyone is. But what I can say is that we are advising a major organization whether to become one of the largest producers of one of the most important inputs for a sustainable economy. And to me, this is just a leverage level that boggles my mind and is a responsibility that makes me feel apprehensive in of course, a very good way. But the simple act of doing this very impactful and insightful work with such intensity and ambition makes it oh so much more exciting. The thing is that almost anything done consistently and intensely will yield results and will come to feel like an art. To me, it obviously reminds me of my time as a concert pianist, where I had to be hyper-focused all day, every day, to be able to make any progress whatsoever. As I hear, that's how it is also like with muscles and building. Bodybuilding, you have to put a lot of effort, you put in a little bit of effort at the beginning, and then you start seeing oversized results. But once you've really reached that mastery, you have to work harder and harder to just reach that extra level between whatever 80% and 100%, and it gets exponentially more difficult. And that is what we're doing day in, day out, really going for that high level of excellence. What also makes it even more like art to me is the way that we work. It reminds me a lot of chamber music. So we sit in a room with the two other consultants on the team and the project leader who comes by sometimes. We sit in the same room for the entire day together, and it's mostly completely silent, a crispy silence with the only sound being the noise of our synapses firing, and of course the computer fan on overdrive, as well as a lot of laughing. I mean, we have a very, very good time in the moments that we're not silently super focused. I can't tell you how much I work, and I can't tell you what I think about the computer fan, since with a previous employer I said something about it and got into a lot of trouble. So what I can tell you is, no, I can't tell you how much I work. Let's just say that weekends are holy and perfectly choreographed to maximize chilling. Taking a Sabbath day makes perfect sense now, and I'm taking it very seriously. Anyway, that's all for today. I'm off to COP28 right now, which is, of course, happening in Dubai. Thank you, and see you soon.